Welcome to another pixelforlife.com video tutorial. In today's lesson, we're going to learn some pretty interesting and cool stuff. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take this image and make it look a little bit cooler with the photo filters, and then we're going to take this cool orb image and put it around his hand as if he's actually throwing in the orb and also some fairy dust at himself. So we're going to add a little reflection into his sunglasses and also do some shadowing and highlighting on the guy himself so it actually stands out a little bit more. So with that, first thing we want to do is go to our layer and hit Control J. And this is just a free image that I found on the internet of a rap artist. I don't even know his name. After that, we're going to go to Photo Filter, go to the Cooling Filter. You can play around whichever one you want. Up that density a little bit. I'm going to go to about 50%. And this is the one right here that I want. And then I'm gonna make sure preserve luminosity is on and hit OK. And after I've done that, I want to go ahead and use my dodge tool here. And the first thing I want to do is just go along his skin tone a little bit, including his hand. And then on my burn tool, I want to burn his clothes a little bit more, make them a little bit darker so that he actually stands out even more. Do the same thing to his glasses, a little bit to the background here, just kind of fade that out because I don't really want that to stand out as much as I do the character himself. And I'm going to make this smaller, and I want to do this to his ring right there. Alright, that looks good. So the next thing I want to do is I want to go to here to the orb, hit Control T to transform. And I want to scale this down to fit around his hand and rotate that a little bit, make it a little bit bigger and hit OK. I then want to grab my circle tool, click from right in the center and about like that, Control I, delete that, and then I'm going to go to inverting that selection, filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And I just want to, I just want to blur the edge of it just a little bit. So I actually need to use my eraser tool. I don't know, I'm out of it right now. Eraser tool, make it a little bit bigger, and just kind of go along the edges of it, erasing out the parts that I don't want, which is just going to leave me with this little streak on the edge there. And with that, I can then go to my layer modes and just layer it on the character the right way, which is just going to be my linear dodge add. It looks pretty good. And with that, I'll go ahead and move this down a little bit, about like that. Now what I want to do is I want to zoom into the character, and I'm going to go ahead and hide that, and I want to go ahead and use my pen tool. And I'm going to just basically make the shape of his hand just real quick. It doesn't have to be super perfect. And I'm just going around it real quick like here. Halfway through now with his fingers. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, and I'm not really taking my time here. It's just to get the basic shape cut out because we're going to need it. finish that off there. I then want to grab that selection. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that. Go back to my orb. Hit Control Inverse, or actually I'm sorry, I want the hand selected and then I want to hit the delete key, which is going to actually put the orb behind it like so, behind his hand. So it actually looks like he's actually going to be throwing it at his face. And then I want to go ahead and go to my hue and saturation, and I want to adjust this a little bit. And I want to make it this purplish color here, as you can see. And that's looking good. And I'm going to go ahead and name this orb. Next thing I want to do is create a new layer and go to my paintbrush tool. And I actually want to bring out my brush settings here because I need to go to the scattering. And I want to put my scatter all the way up, my count down to 1, and count jitter down as well. And then I'm going to basically just click and drag, kind of like so. To where it's kind of creating all of these little bubbles like such. And after doing that, I want to go to my layer styles and go to outer glow. I then want to change this to an actual color, which is going to be about like that. Make it a little bit smaller. Bring the range down a little bit just so you can kind of see them a little bit better. And then, I mean, you can play around with different effects in here, but that's pretty much all that I want to do for the actual fairy dust itself. Now, I mentioned that we need to go ahead and put a little bit of reflection in his glasses here, and this is going to be real simple to do. We're actually just going to keep this layer on and go ahead and just click in his glasses a couple times randomly. Nothing, real fancy here. Go ahead and select around all of those and go to Filter, Blur, and Gaussian Blur. And I don't want to fade them out too much, just a little bit like that. Go back to actual pixels. Now it looks like he's actually reflecting it. And now the last thing that I want to do to this image is go ahead and bring out his tattoos a little bit more. So I want to go to the Burn tool, back to the layer. And I just want to burn these tattoos so that they stand out a little bit more. Makes it look more impressive, more like an actual magazine cover would have. Because, tattoos start to fade over time, and just, to kind of bring them out a little bit. Make them look really good and sharp. And something kind of like that. And I won't worry about the ones under his neck that are hidden so much. But there we go, that looks pretty good. Go back to actual pixels. And with that, you can see now they stand out real nice and good. And this is looking really good. Only thing I want to do is go ahead and select out the hand again. Go to the inverse. Or actually, use the hand selection first. Delete any of the actual glows on his fingers. Go to the inverse. And now I want to go ahead and start at the base of his hand. And just add some more in here like such to kind of scatter it a little bit more, make it look a little bit more realistic. And that looks pretty good to me. I hope you all enjoyed this quick Photoshop lesson on fairy dust and also how to do some cool photo filtering effects and make the tattoos pop. And we hope to see you in future lessons. Be sure to send us your tutorial ideas so we can make it happen for you all. It's pfltuts@gmail.com. Be sure to check out our Twitter and also our Facebook and Google Plus accounts. And, of course, subscribe here on YouTube. And we can't wait to show you more. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.